15 now.
Sabalenka constantly looks to step in on those second serves, and Shviantek, she's going to have to keep that first serve going. Move it around, keep Sabalenka off balance. And a bit of a hole here to start. And one of the impressive parts of Shviantek's game is her movement, her ability to cover the court, to get to those extra balls. That sometimes shrinks the space that a player like Sabalenka has to hit into. So we'll see if she can keep up a level of consistency, Sabalenka, throughout this match.
Shviantek doesn't seem to be troubled by the tennis ball right now, does she?
I think the ball works pretty well for her game.
That was an unusual story coming into this U.S. Open for Shviantek. Not only did she take number one when Ash Barty walked away, she also inherited Barty's complaint about the ball used by the women championships here at the U.S. Open. And she's been asked about it. She's handled it politely since she's been here. And she played pretty well.
She talked about preferring the heavier men's ball, but you know, I think that this ball kind of suits her game. It has allowed her to kind of swing away a little bit more, and pretty close to the same amount of time spent on court to get to this stage of the tournament. That battle against Niemeyer in the fourth round for Shviantek, that added some time to her amount spent on court. And of course for Sabalenka, she's had some tough ones. That one against Danielle Collins, that was a battle.
Yeah, that was one where Sabalenka was in trouble midway through the second set. And Shanda, we've seen it, we saw in that match, you know, the double fault issue still is there, but doesn't seem to harm her right now, at least as it has earlier in the year, say.
Yeah, in her last round, her last match against Karolina Pliskova, only had 3 double faults. I think it was not a factor at all. But it's going to be the unforced errors in these early stages. Number 4 for Sabalenka already. It's overplaying a bit, hasn't quite settled into this.
Oh.
15-30.
I like to think we don't have the power to jinx anyone. I believe that's true.
Sabalenka has a base in Miami, and that's where she spent the late June, early July window. And was very candid when she talked after her quarterfinal win. She couldn't watch Wimbledon. Every time she was working out, if it was on in the gym, turned it off. Couldn't watch it. Not being able to play.
It's tough. I mean, certainly when you lose in a tournament, sometimes it's that feeling, but I would imagine, especially if you're not able to play and you're healthy and ready, wanting to play, having had such a big result the previous year.
And this result's helping her because those semifinal points went away from Wimbledon, but she has been able to defend them from last year's Open.
Sabalenka.
15-30 there to hold for 1-all.
Sabalenka doing a good job of steadying herself there. So important in these big matches where there's a bit of nerves and tension at the start to settle in as quickly as possible. Holding serve, just feeling like you're into the match is one way to do it.
Love 15.
Another takeaway for Sabalenka is that the last 3 times that she's played and lost to Shviantek has been when she hasn't been playing her best tennis this year. She's got to feel a lot more confidence coming into this matchup today. Now it's Shviantek just a bit over anxious, ran into that forehand, didn't really get on balance and get her feet set.
Guess nerves had something to do with that. That's that. Oh, that'll change right there.
Love 40.
Big return to give Sabalenka 3 chances to break. So Shviantek drop serve at love. First lead of the semifinal to Sabalenka.
On your seats quickly, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Iga Swiatek, little fact that strikes me as a bit of an oddity. She's the first #1 seed to reach the semifinals here in 6 years.
Yeah, since Serena did it.
Quickly, players are waiting for you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
I mean, you think that Osaka's won it a couple of times. Of course, we know last year was the real outlier, but 6 years since the #1 seeds made the semis.
Love 15.
Sabalenka, that's her second double. This is a whole different vibe for her. I mean, last year in the semis, everybody had been caught up in the Cinderella runs of two players, and the crowd here was pretty much behind Leylah Fernandez. Sabalenka's not going to have that issue tonight.
Well, it was a surprise. Sabalenka just seemed to crumble under the pressure. I mean, you saw it become a real thing.
Yep.
It was up against Fernandez, seemed to book her spot almost in the final. So those are the experiences you try to learn from as a player, and coming right back the next year, getting back to another U.S. Open semifinal. That's just a little more experience, and has seemed to really be using that experience. Now that's an area in the court where you've got to get more height on the ball. Sabalenka much further back than she normally likes to play, but still had the same trajectory. That ball in the middle of the net. It starts with the first serve, and good placement, but Shviantek not doing nearly enough with the return and pays the price.
First forehand winner to save one break point. Oh. Well, she put the second serve in, but Shviantek breaks back.
2 games all first hand.
We talked about Sabalenka's match last year here with Fernandez, Chandon. You have to believe that there's a seed in her mind about this, because Jessie Pegula was, first of all, one of the great press conferences of all time last night. But she was very clear, by the way. You can stay connected to the U.S. Open on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, #US Open.
Love 15.
So anyway, Pegula last night was hydrating during the press, which was fabulous. But she admitted
late night hydrating.
Oh yes, absolutely. It was, and she had to test. We've seen this forever here. You probably dealt with it as a player. Yeah. Good return on the second serve there. So Pegula made 3 quarters this year in the majors, but lost in all the quarters. And she admitted that was, she used a blunt word, I won't use it, but she was bummed by that. hit a wall. This is the third major semi for Sabalenka. You don't want that to become the wall, right?
Yeah.
You just want to get through that.
I mean, it's great
final.
getting to those stages, but
exactly.
when you kind of get stuck there, it feels like a bigger thing. It's good moves from Shviantek. Good first step there, getting up to that ball. It was dropping. Not easy to get under it with these grips, but does a good job. Swings through quickly. Helps her create that extra spin.
Double
fault strike both ways, and serving is not winning in the early part of this semi.
It's a tough return to miss. After the double fault, that's when you want to put that return back in play. Sabalenka hits it so big. She could have given herself much more space, and it would have still pushed Shviantek. Still one more break opportunity.
Where would you guess the nerves are right now?
Still some tension,
yeah,
really, in both players.
At 10, I think, in these early games.
You can see Shviantek trying to focus on getting that first serve in. The last one, 97 miles per hour. Decent placement.
Yeah. Her fastest so far is 103. So.
Big time hitting from Sabalenka. Keeping the pressure on Shviantek. And in the middle of that rally, giving herself more margin. These balls are still very heavy and deep.
Sabalenka covered the court.
Yeah, it looked like Shviantek had control of this rally, but right there just popped the volley up too much, and Sabalenka not giving up on the point. She gets the reward.
And a third break point.
That was a little bigger first serve. 106 now, and excellent placement out wide. Shviantek has been going more for placement. That time she went for it a little bit. Trying to kind of figure out the Shviantek serving strategy here, and there just doesn't seem to be much of one. She maybe had the idea she wants to have a lot of first serves, not give Sabalenka looks at seconds, but she's just not doing much with the serve. Even the first serves are kind of in the middle of the box. It's another break point for Sabalenka.
It's a good call, Jazz. When you're oohing and eyeing at 106 from Shviantek, you're saying, ooh, what's up?
Yeah, that was huge compared to what she's been doing.
And Sabalenka's ground stroke play wins the point on her 4th try, her 2nd break.
Sabalenka leads 3 games to 2. First set.
Sabalenka already trying to put away the memories of early this year. Again, 3 matches in the first half of the year between these two. Shviantek winning them all in straight sets. Only 1 set did Sabalenka win 3 games.
Long.
Now that is a tough miss there for Shviantek. Entire court open, and it's been tough for Shviantek to really get something going. That doesn't help.
Oh.
So there Sabalenka goes past her barrier of this year. It's to 4-2 in the first. And small samples, Chanda, 3 service games each. Right now the second serve problem is Shviantek. She's won 1 of 8.
I think also for Shviantek, though, she doesn't have a high enough percentage of winning behind the first serve. That, to me, is even more crucial. That last first serve from Shviantek, one of the best placed serves that she's hit. But overall, her first and second serve average speeds have been just a little lower 99 miles per hour on average on the first, 82 miles per average on the second serves. Sabalenka, of course, serving much bigger on average.
Oh, had passed but missed.
I was kind of curious about the average first serve speeds for Shviantek during the tournament, and that 99 miles per hour is just a little lower, 2 miles per hour slower than her average speeds over the course of the tournament. And it's not a huge difference, but I think the placement right now, she's serving slower and not placing her serve as well. This game, you can see her making that little adjustment, trying to hit her targets here. But already 10-11 with that last backhand, unforced errors from Shviantek, and just 2 winners. I mean, that is also negative differential that we're not used to seeing with Iga Swiatek.
And Sabalenka's right there. I mean, this is, so far this has been a match of misses, not makes. A little bit to me is these theory they get that is Daria, who is certainly the most prominent mental performance coach. Not sure what the proper phrase they would give is, but that's in essence what it is. Most certainly the most prominent one in tennis. The Shviantek changed coaches, but not Daria. But it does highlight to me, Chandon, what we saw a couple of nights ago, the way Garcia came out here against Goff and just crushed, went for it. And, you know, and it's impressive, and I guess it reinforces that's much easier said than done in these stakes.
And to do it consistently and back it up, not easy.
Shviantek got away with that. A little soft second serve right in the wheelhouse, but she does survive the game. Still a break to Sabalenka. Of those 53 match wins are hardcore. To win the that double in March is so impressive.
It was at Indian Wells where Shviantek started creating space between her and the field. She and Sakkari were kind of neck and neck to get to that #2 spot. And when she beat her there and won the tournament, separation became a real big thing. And that's the signs that player hasn't fully kind of settled in. That basic return miss up the middle of the court and just pulls it long. That's a terrific serve. Sabalenka slowly getting her speed up, 115 miles per hour.
30-all.
And one thing we're still trying to see who can grab hold of is the momentum here in this match. I mean, Sabalenka got the early break. Still trying to hold on to that break of serve.
That might require a couple of winners.
Yeah, I think it's just the continuous play. Not a lot of misses, forcing the opponent to win the point. Yeah, that's much better from Sabalenka. And didn't overplay on that backhand. Beautiful placement going behind Shviantek.
Our service games have become sounder as the set has gone long. Now at 5-3 in a good position.
I think when we start to see a little more flow is when players start holding serve more frequently and doing a better job behind first serve. And that is what Sabalenka is doing, just a little bit better than Shviantek right now.
Love. $15.
Oh.
Now the set in danger
15-13.
for Shviantek. So those hats just put up on the board there. You can see a quick glimpse of how close it was. So those Iga hats, a sign of what she and Hurkacz together have meant for tennis in Poland.
Oh.
That's the type of confident hitting we've been seeing in the Sabalenka game
15-14.
almost the entire tournament. You mentioned she saved those 2 match points in the second round against Kanepi and just seemed to play more free-flowing tennis since then. Has a couple of set points here if she needs both.
game for 3.
Trying to reach her first major final. And she grabs the first set, grabs it fairly decisively in the second round. Is now a set away from playing for the championship.
Love 15.
Sabalenka, year-end number 2 into last year, having been semi at both Wimbledon and the Open. Shviantek this year against top 10 players is 8-0. Hasn't dropped a set until 2 minutes ago.
Love 13.
I think the players that Shviantek has maybe a little more trouble with can at times overpower her. And Sabalenka certainly has that ability. But she's been in real control of her shots throughout much of the first set. We saw a number of unforced errors from both players, but it was Sabalenka who really settled in first and kept it going through the end.
Love 14.
But these are important moments. If Shviantek can get the early break, it almost kind of negates the first set a little bit, that disappointment. She can start fresh just a little bit quicker.
Well, that
first game, second set.
Immediately gives the Shviantek side a little jolt. Sabalenka was on court, standing and waiting for Shviantek to come out from the break off court. And of course, you can remember that Sabalenka did the same to Danielle Collins in the middle of their match. So, because this rule has been twisted like the greatest pretzels on earth, you have to accept both sides of it. You can do it, but then you have to take it sometimes.
Exactly. And sometimes, I mean, in some ways, just setting a little more of a time limit, that has helped. Haven't heard too many complaints, and doesn't seem to have been abused in any real way this tournament. Haven't seen every match, though.
Rafa did have an 8.5 minute break.
He did take a little long. I remember that one.
And it was not medical.
Was there a reason? Did we find out? Yeah.
Not sure
that was the only long one.
Success has its privileges.
Yeah, there are definitely players that sort of use it just as a reset, and you know that's fair as well, as long as you take it within the time allocation. Shviantek did it after losing that first set to Niemeyer, just to reset things. But she's starting to find better placement on her serve.
Well, she's won 8 straight points to start the set, has Shviantek. Just measures of her year are extraordinary. We're looking at those hats that have been modeled after Iga and number 1. And again, to understand what it would mean in Poland for this, they had a tournament after Wimbledon in Warsaw. And that was where Shviantek's streak was broken. 33 straight wins, or excuse me, 37 straight wins. Resounding there from Sabalenka. The loss that Shviantek had, her streak snapped at 37 straight wins. She lost in Warsaw to the number 45 ranked player in the world in July, Caroline Garcia. That's the lowest ranked player that Shviantek has lost to all year. Was Garcia at the moment was 45.
And was playing much higher.
Of course,
at
right.
a much higher ranking.
It was the beginning of her run.
Yeah, as we can see now, we have been able to see.
Thank you, my fact checker. Cornet beat her at Wimbledon. That did snap the streak, right? That was the next tournament she played after Wimbledon.
Shviantek again, just lassoing the momentum a bit more. Putting Sabalenka in trouble again on serve at 15-30. It's been a different Shviantek since the break at the end of the first set.
Now that's the kind of point that does that, brings the stadium into the match.
Creates a bit more positive energy for Sabalenka as well, and she has had a couple of points where she has stood her ground at the net with some quick hands on the volley. If you're Sabalenka, you just don't want this set to get away so quickly after such an excellent first set. Just want to make somewhat of a stand here. Get back to holding serve. That's a nice reply from Shviantek, getting more aggressive. Not allowing Sabalenka to reset the point there.
Advantage, Sabalenka.
That is a big serve out wide with that kind of placement.
That was the second serve.
Nothing Shviantek could do.
Chanda, we're talking about Shviantek getting 105 on her first serve. That was 104 second in a great spot.
Might be a little slow for Sabalenka on the second. She used to hit big second serves. That, I think, has been part of the serve improvement.
Ah. Gear down. So Sabalenka pulls through the game, and see though Shviantek can build a little momentum off her early break. Sabalenka has been in this spot before. Her first major semi, Wimbledon, 21 summer. She won the first set from Pliskova. Pliskova got a quick break in the second and ended up winning that match 6-4 in the third.
She maybe thought that ball was going further out. Dropped right on the line. Improvement in Shviantek's serve placement has been remarkable from the first set. Started doing a better job that last game or so of the first. So accurate right now. And when you start pinpointing your serve to the outer edges of the service box, then the body serve becomes more effective. That time jamming Sabalenka just enough to get something to attack.
Well, Shviantek has served 2 games, won all 8 points to start the second set. That's a turnaround, clearly. Again, follow all of the U.S. Open in this final weekend, the championship weekend, on all the social platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at hashtag US Open.
Low.
Didn't matter. Shannon looked at Shviantek's box. The team looks a little unsettled, don't they?
Yeah,
even with her having the lead.
They're still not all the way comfortable, and maybe they just expected her to be in a different place from the early stages of this match. And perhaps it's just the fact that Sabalenka is always dangerous. Can't ever really get comfortable with a lead. Didn't see that.
Oh.
$30-15. 40-15.
You were referencing winning the first serve points. Sabalenka is only serving 53%, but she's only lost 4 points on first serve. Shviantek is knocking around the second serve
40
right now.
It's the first time I've really noticed Shviantek stepping so far in on the return. That is usually more of a part of her game.
Shviantek's done well, zeros. 8 first serves, 8 points won. Only one double for Sabalenka so far in this set.
A couple of quick returns from Shviantek, really putting the pressure on Sabalenka's second serve.
For service.
That was big.
Advantage Sabalenka.
Big right down the tee. Four doubles. So again, the number's just not as high. They don't seem to be, the doubles themselves aren't hurting Sabalenka, but right now she's not winning on her second serve.
And that the timing of that one kind of stings.
How big was, I'm going to bet she goes big here.
Called it, Ted. That was pretty big.
102. I was going to say, it gets your definition, but
that's pretty big on a second.
I had to have a feeling after a double fault, she had to. She knew she had to go big.
102 out wide is a little bit bigger.
Yes, yes.
So she went for it.
Trevor winning the game point right now.
And the game becoming bigger and bigger the longer it goes here for Sabalenka, just to keep some tension, some pressure here in this set.
Lynn Manuel's in the house.
Let for service. advantage.
All right, Chandler, here you go. You felt this coming.
That actually wasn't a bad serve from Sabalenka. Nice pace into the body, but Shviantek just turning and leaning on it just enough.
For service.
It's always the danger with those body serves. If you don't quite hit your spot, then the player has a return where they don't have to move as much. And that's the challenge here for Sabalenka under pressure.
It's been a long game, but this is the first break point. Oh! Sabalenka went big middle. Shviantek just blocked it back. And now number one has a double break to square the match. So Iga Swiatek now in a what she should feel is commanding spot to grab the set, double break up. Would you say this is a momentum game?
I think
Shviantek holds?
I think for Shviantek to just maintain that momentum, it's always a bigger deal when you have this lead and you drop serve versus the person holds their serve. So it's still an important game for Shviantek. She's not out of the woods yet, down a set.
Well, here, I'll try my luck again. That's 10 straight first serves in for Shviantek, and she's won all 10 points.
Big difference from that first set. First serve percentage and the points won.
Great get by Shviantek. That's the first little smile I've seen from Team Iga.
This point definitely deserved a smile. Had a little bit of everything and beautiful angle from Shviantek in the end.
(40-15).
Oh.
40-30.
Ooh, forehand out, and now a little drama in this game. Every double fault gets thrown in. Don't you feel it? It was a 40-love game.
Feel a little more of that tension.
Stress release. Serve +1. Pretty easy.
Nothing is quite that easy at this stage, and for Shviantek, even though she has this lead, this double break lead, still down a set and playing against a player that can turn things around with 1 or 2 swings. This game has gotten quite complicated for Shviantek. That's a return. Just can't miss, though, at this stage when Shviantek is feeling this kind of pressure.
Well, that was more work than Shviantek wanted to be. But the end result's 5-1.
Second serve.
It was 23 months ago. We knew a little bit about Shviantek, but since Fibak, great Fibak, you know, we really had a ton of tennis players from Poland. Janowicz for a little while, but he got hurt. Hurkacz was starting, and then suddenly this Shviantek, who was 50-something in the world, runs the table in the fall Roland Garros.
Well, let's not forget about Radwanska, though.
Thank you. Yes.
Certainly, Shviantek was watching her get to a Wimbledon final. There hasn't been many players, though, from Poland. Got Magda Linette, who's out there now, around 50 or so, I believe still, but Shviantek, she has really set a whole new precedent.
$4 a.m. Just past 4 a.m. right now in Warsaw. I'm going to guess pretty good viewership.
I would think so. If you're going to be up at 4 a.m. watching your player, you certainly like this turnaround here in the second set. Couple of excellent serves from Sabalenka to try to salvage this game and at least make Shviantek have to serve for the set.
Use. Advantage, Sabalenka.
And he was trying to go middle again and missed by a mile. Well, this is the rhythm that struck in Sabalenka's last service game. She can't win the ad point. No break points yet in this game.
Just has lost the feel on some of these shots. Sabalenka, a set point for Shviantek.
That was the 18th second serve point that Sabalenka has had in this set. Shviantek has served 18 points total. Defending par excellence, and there will be a third set to play Jabeur in the finals. One set, the winner to play on Jabeur Saturday for the U.S. Open Championship. A little difference. Shviantek hasn't played a lot of third sets. Hasn't needed to. This is the 23rd third set match for Sabalenka this year. Tops on the tour. That's a great start for her because she wants to flip history. She's lost her other major semifinals. Pliskova, Wimbledon, Fernandez, U.S. Open were both third sets.
She had a good look at that backhand, but you could see Shviantek just leaning over a little too much, lost her balance, kind of collapsed a little, and that ball went into the net. Again, Shviantek just a little tentative in this game. Sabalenka, immediate opportunities.
So that 96-mile-an-hour first serve on a break point. Let's see if Shviantek stays in that mode. Oh, wow. She hit her best, 110. So changing speeds.
That's really been the formula for Shviantek. I mean, she's got to keep going for the serve in terms of the placement, keeping Sabalenka off balance.
Well, there, Sabalenka got it back.
First game, final set.
And took advantage of the second serve herself. So Shviantek broke to start the second. It spun things her way. Does Sabalenka do the same here?
Rebel Wilson's a big tennis fan. I think she's in
multiple appearances, right?
Yeah, she's been here a number of nights, and I think I heard she was in a tennis movie, some kind of tennis movie, right? But not as aware of those things.
Love. Leg for service.
Oh.
Leg for service. 4-2.
5 errors already for Shviantek to start the set. Yeah.
14-13.
Suddenly Shviantek, haven't seen this often, Chandler. Here she's lost it for a bit.
It's really lost the feel
Yeah.
off her racket, and
6 on 4 in 2 games.
yeah, Sabalenka trying to wrestle this momentum back and consolidate.
Well, this game now becomes massive for the world number 1.
Sabalenka leads 2 games to love. Final set.
And it's been impressive, though, from Sabalenka. You know, after that second set, had to have been a little disappointing, especially how she ended, missing that gimme volley. But she has stayed the course, taken the opportunities to get the early break, and backing it up on serve.
She did the same as Shviantek after the first set. Sabalenka took that little off-court regroup and has come back and won 2 games.
Love 15.
Again, Shviantek, that serve in the middle of the box. Sabalenka, plenty of options.
Let for service.
Only third set that Shviantek has played this tournament. She won at 6-love. Well, that is already not an option here, but trying change the momentum, stop the swing just a bit by holding serve.
Oh, a line ball. Just Shviantek needing
15. Let for service. Fourteen, 15.
Shviantek pulled herself upright at the needed moment to get a hold.
Final set.
Although last night that was one that will live in everyone's memories forever. Spectacular match. Anyway, Sabalenka with the third set lead, but each player has broken 4 times in the match.
We've seen a number of times where the first couple of points in these games really set the tone, and Shviantek trying to get a bit of a lead, put a little pressure on Sabalenka here. She's gotten some double faults at times when Sabalenka has been under pressure.
You want to know why she's number 1?
Love 30.
This is just terrific movement.
What a perfect dip on that backhand. That's unbelievable. Well, we have learned to trust Hawkeye Sam implicitly. So we're gonna get Sam to tell us how that backhand went.
It's yours.
What a reply from Sabalenka. Shviantek kind of lifted her level. First couple of points, and Sabalenka rebounding. Had to curl this backhand back in. With both these players, anything a little short in the court and they are looking to pounce, and a little misfortune from Sabalenka, that net cord gave Shviantek plenty of time.
No, Sabalenka pulled it, and now Shviantek, her first look here in the third set. She went big on the second, 105. Shviantek handled it and wastes no time in getting this final set even. What a beautiful, clear day and night we've had. Don't forget, USOpen.org is your official site. Keep track of all the events. If you're not right in front of it, take your device with you. You'll get all the real-time scoring and stats this final weekend. Shviantek's first serve number has dropped in this set, 54.
It's been kind of the strange part of the Shviantek game, sort of up and down serving. First set, a lot of low speed serves, not good placement. Second set, that all changed. And then here in the third, it's been a little of the same.
That was a first serve at 92. Sabalenka smacked it.
And I've been paying a little more attention to the placement, and it's just not going after it, being as accurate.
Well, this would be a major reversal. Closing in on a finish line. Sabalenka can get this break back.
Please. For service.
Now the fans here in the big stadium have been hydrated, and they didn't get any drama in the first semifinal. So they're latching onto it here in the third set. Oh, Sabalenka. And it started with the return. And is that the flip that could put Sabalenka in her first major final? Can she hold this one and reap the biggest reward of her tennis career? Yes. You said Shviantek lifted her level, Chanda. You're so right, because it's fallen back. That's 10 errors already for Shviantek in this final set. See if the new stick makes a difference.
Much better point, steadying point for Shviantek.
15-all.
You mentioned the 10 unforced errors that Shviantek has had this set, and Sabalenka only 5. I mean, those are terrific numbers. And if she can make Shviantek have to play points like that, Sabalenka gives herself the best chance. Sneaky little return from Shviantek. Just using the pace from Sabalenka to redirect.
And that Shviantek return must have been on the baseline because it caught Sabalenka backing up.
Hadn't really come out of her serve all the way, and she was having to pick that return up off the shoelaces. That's a monster serve. Perfect time for it as well.
Advantage, Sabalenka.
Ted, you mentioned that match that finished at 3 a.m. between Sinner and Alcaraz. We had a lot of tension in that match. Getting some similar tension here down the stretch in this third set. These are important games.
Advantage, Sabalenka.
That's big for Sabalenka. And Shviantek knew it. She dropped her head and her shoulders. A couple of returns missed. I will tell you, confess, I stayed up to the end of 3 a.m. earlier today.
I did too.
It was so good.
I was right there. I know.
It was just brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Kind of thing that makes you feel good for tennis. It's in a good place.
Thank you.
Doesn't have to be at 3 a.m., but those two young guys representative of a lot of good things.
Please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Oh.
Love.
That's a terrific shot. Not easy to change direction and have that good a timing. Shviantek, brave and accurate.
Love.
Can't put anything right in the middle of the court. That sits up. Sabalenka is all over it. Still have to like how she's giving herself a lot of margin on some of those shots. I mean, it's hit big, but it's still pretty safe.
So Shviantek survives a game.
Sabalenka leads 4 games to 3.
Far from done yet. 2 chances left for Shviantek. And you felt like the women's tennis top was wide open. I remember saying that it's kind of a why not me feeling. There could be 20, 25 players who could say, why not me this year? Why can't I win one now? And the first player to do it was Shviantek. She took charge immediately.
Love 15.
Yeah, Shviantek has held that #1 ranking since April, early April. 6 months. Kept herself heads and shoulders above the field. She mishit it. You don't think about this as much, but a lot of those misses are just from taking your eye off the ball. You get a little bit anxious, you look at where you want to hit the ball, and those mishits can be costly.
Hold.
14. 4 games old. Final set.
Another statement by number 1. Twice has broken back. And now Chanda said it 2 or 3 times already, but a massive service game if Swiatek can hold here.
Oh.
That's a miss that Sabalenka would very much want back. A couple of missed tosses from Shviantek and didn't have to play after the return.
Just a little extra 20-second timeout here to get a new racket. See if Sabalenka now can stop that run that you just saw for Shviantek.
Players usually have rackets strung at different tensions in their bag, and certainly ones that are newer will be tighter and start missing, like Sabalenka was kind of doing long. Try to go to a tighter stick. That time, just cutting it too short into the net.
Applause both ways there. Shviantek with remarkable defense, and Sabalenka didn't blink.
That is even more remarkable. The shot making from Sabalenka just kept the focus high, and that shot, plenty of height and spin.
And that Shviantek slide, that was Kleister's like.
Shviantek breathing a little sigh of relief there. From 30 love, that game tightened up considerably.
Absolutely, and so the agony from Sabalenka. And Shviantek gets the hold. And after leading this entire set, what pressure coming up on Sabalenka's service.
Thank you. Well fought.
And that right there, 15-5, has created triple match point. Will play for the US Open title.
6-1, 6-4.
Yeah, this is a big moment again for Iga Swiatek. Consider the year she has had, but first time for her getting to the semifinals of the US Open, and now will play for the title. Had to battle. Sabalenka came out ready to play, took that first set in pretty nice form.
It just has to crush her.
Yeah, I mean, the way Shviantek really turned that around in the second, but the third set for Sabalenka, up 4-2, and lost the last 4 games of the set.
This is about emotion here. I mean, 3 times now she's been to the semis of a major, and all 3 losing in the third set, and this time twice with the lead.
Take us through the match a little bit. The first set, you came out, you looked a little bit tight, and explain what goes on for someone like you coming on. You're so experienced, you've had such an amazing year.
I just think against Aryna, you have to really have the energy, you know, to kind of push her back and be able to just play back those fast balls. And in first set, for sure, I lacked a little bit of that, so I needed to kind of get it together, drink some energy shot, and just go with it. So I'm pretty glad that I did that.
Yeah, I was saying tonight that the bathroom was a good place to go because the both of you went in there and played pretty well after coming back. What did you tell yourself when you were in there?
It's more what I did.
Okay, sorry about that.
I kind of needed to go. But yeah, well, for sure I felt lighter. Just, you know, sorry, that's disgusting. Just, I tried to use that time to really try to think about what to change and really do it a good way, because I remember earlier when I was younger, all I did in the bathroom between sets when I lost was cry. This time I can actually think about what to change and actually problem solve, as I told you before the match. So I'm pretty glad that I did that, because I just had a new idea for the second set, and that's great.
In the third set, obviously got down an early break. So what was the problem solving that you felt you needed to do and did to be successful in the third set?
Well, honestly, I think just try to put the first serve in, because she was really aggressive on the second serve. So she was putting pressure on me, and I realized that even though in second set I broke her a couple of times, it's going to be tough because she can serve well, and I feel like she did a progress with her serve. So I needed to really be careful, and even though I lost the first game, I just had hope. But honestly, I wasn't expecting too much from myself because, as I said, Aryna is a great server, so I wasn't sure if I'm going to break her back. But I feel like I just played on even another level, so that's great.
You are so hard on yourself. We talk sometimes and you're very, very critical of how you play sometimes, or what you did right or what you did wrong. Mostly you pick always what you did wrong. What do you feel proudest about tonight?
Honestly, I'm really happy after my match with Jessie. Even though I knew that there is always something to improve, I was really happy that I just was able to play in such a solid way and keep my focus and actually overcome these obstacles that I felt since the beginning of the tournament. And I just continue to do that today. So, that's true that I'm always hard on myself, but for the last couple of days, I'm just grateful to be on that stage of the tournament.
Well, you're going up against someone you know very well, an Angeveur in the ladies' final. We're so looking forward to it. Can you give me your thoughts on playing Ons?
Well, it's always tough. I'm pretty sure it's going to be physical. She has such a good hand, She's solid on the baseline and when she's going in. So, I just got to be careful. I don't know what's going to happen right now. I'm just going to try to enjoy being in the final.
Ladies and gentlemen, through to her first US Open final, the world number one, Iga Swiatek.